Azura, by Azura, by Azura! It's the grand champion! I can't believe it's you!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Oblivion Remaster, it's absolutely 100% now confirmed to be official. It shocked me so much, it literally blew all of my hair off. That was actually just me ripping it out, wondering when we were going to finally see the announcement and if it was coming. But it's here! Bethesda today officially tweeted out that tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be getting our first look at the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. Now, there's still some ambiguity as if it's officially a remaster or a remake. Turns out that everything that's been leaked so far up until this point has been true. Therefore, I'm willing to believe that it is a remaster. Those screenshots were correct. We just have to wait one more day. And for those of you curious, yes, I absolutely still do think that it's going to release the same day. The exception being some chatbots that people communicated with, but I'm going to be honest, I never really put much faith in the chatbots to begin with, so I'm not counting that amongst the things that have been accurate. I'm talking the information that came from the actual known insiders. The other option is it's delayed a little bit, or the date is just pushed back into next month, but then it's going to be competing directly with another Bethesda title, Doom: The Dark Ages, so just leave it as is. I think this is the plan. To absolutely nobody's surprise, the announcement didn't give any other information there to be present, but what I do suspect is that Bethesda will be taking the time to go over all of the new details that we can expect, including the speculated and leaked revamped stealth system, combat mechanics, as well as the updated HUD and navigation, and any other important changes that they've made before and after. And of course, plenty of screenshots and comparisons between the two, especially considering that the visual side will likely be one of the larger improvements to the game. Now, I do need to sit back and say one of the major changes I'm hoping to see, and I think needs to be included in this remake, is the dungeons. I've said it multiple times before, but I do really think if this game does not overhaul its interiors and dungeons, that it's really not going to live up to the expectation of most gamers, especially those who are hopping into Oblivion for the first time that never tried it because they were introduced to the franchise through Skyrim. Other things that'll be interesting to see is going to be the character creator, how exactly that works with this new version. What do the character models look like? Is it more similar to how they appear in Skyrim, or is it going to be more similar to the way that they looked in Oblivion? The elves, for example, the Khajiit, the Argonians, were all vastly different than how they appeared in the Elder Scrolls V. DLC is the big question. The likes of Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles, specifically those larger expansions. Eagle-eyed fans spotted that the Wizard's Tower presumably appears in the background of one of the leaked screenshots, which means at the bare minimum we'll probably see those included, but those larger expansions remains to be seen. Now, Mr. Matty Plays heard from Lord Cognito on his podcast that the DLCs will be included, and he trusts Cognito. I trust Matty, therefore I'm inclined to believe that they will be included as part of this package, and honestly, I think it would be a massive mistake if it weren't. Also, I have to say, at least not for now, but kudos to Bethesda for not jacking up. They knew this thing was coming. They could have easily jacked up the price of the original Oblivion Game of the Year edition, but at least for now, it's holding strong, and I hope it remains that way because, hey, it's a little bit of goodwill that I want to give a shout out for. Unless you change it, Bethesda. Don't change it. And then, of course, things such as the voice acting.
Brigands, nature's guardians, my foot. Mean things, they'll curse you, or they might call a bear to tear you apart. Spriggans, nature's guardians, my foot. Mean things, they'll curse you, or they might call a bear to tear you apart.
What do you want, you? What do you want, you rat?
All on the same night! Wait a minute, let me do that one again. I heard the thieves broke into the...
I would love to see some of it there, maybe just as a joke or an Easter egg, because yes, it is part of the 2006 charm that Oblivion had, but are all of those lines going to be redone and re-recorded, each by unique and different voice actors? Are we still going to get the performances of Sean Bean and Patrick Stewart, for example? Many might not know this, but Todd Howard actually voiced the Daedric god Clavicus Vile. Is that going to remain in the game?
A mortal! Wonderful. Always a pleasure. Perhaps I'll do a service for me, mortal, and I'll reward you. A fair bargain, don't you think?
And then lastly, the music. as well. Will Jeremy Soul's iconic soundtrack make a return? Will there be new music added? Only be the originals? And if there is new music, who's going to compose that? Because of course, we've seen Ian and Zur take over a lot of the composing for Bethesda's recent titles, both Fallout 4, Starfield, and Fallout 76. If you're looking for something to help close the gap a little bit more on last week's Push Start podcast episode, I'll link it down in the description below. We actually had some of you guys on to talk about what you wanted to see or what you were nervous about with the Oblivion Remaster. So you can go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Some of the ideas that I've mentioned here came as a result of you guys, which thought of a lot of clever things. Honestly, I'm just sitting here amazed that this thing is actually real, that tomorrow we may very well likely have our hands on an official Bethesda Oblivion Remastered. I'm still very excited to check out Skyblivion and everything that has to offer, because it is going to allow for two very different experiences and interpretations of what Oblivion is meant to be. Do I think this means in the future we're getting a Fallout 3 remaster? 100% yes. Do I think this means Bethesda can finally clean up their release schedule and will actually get a reasonable time between Bethesda Game Studios releases, even if they're remasters? Yes. I know there's a lot of folks out there who are debating whether or not the leaks that have come out were intentional or not. I personally feel whether they were or weren't, this is probably one of the most talked about remasters that I've personally ever seen, at least the most buzz and anticipation around it. So hey, if it wasn't, free marketing. If it was, their marketing worked great. Either way, it's a win for Bethesda. But it won't be long until we finally find out everything that we get to expect from this thing. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be streaming this event and very eager to do so. And then of course, immediately after, if it is shadow dropped, which I suspect it will be, I will be hopping into the game, hopefully with all of you. And then of course, it will be time to close shut the jaws of Oblivion. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you tune in to tomorrow. I can't wait to see all of you there, and I hope you're as excited as I am for this. But until then, I will see you all next time. So long, everybody.